Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
it's a.
Hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Ryan Peña. I'm the committee chairperson for Health and Human Service. It is October 20th at 6:10 p.m. Call to order. I introduce myself, so I'm gonna have everyone to introduce themselves as well.
Yes, and Marcelo Villagrán, board member, Lincoln Hospital.
Good evening, everyone. Christine Licata, arts consultant, board member.
Good evening, everyone. Jose Quintana, New York City Department of Health.
Good evening, Diana Leonard, Community Associate here with the Bronx Community Board 1.
Hi, good evening. My name is Carsa Ogletree. I am actually with the Department of Finance, but I'm here as a student in a master program. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Jordan, District Manager to the Board. Just a reminder that this and all our meetings are telegraphed on our outer for minute keeping and broadcast live on our YouTube page. Please, when you speak for the first time, just say your first and last name for the record. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So we don't have any, we just are gonna talk about new business, and the reason why we wanna talk about new business is because we had an executive meeting where, the brainstorm of the committees were, not the final decision, but they were pretty much brainstorming to merge certain committees. And so for my committee, it was stated that if I was gonna merge with seniors and also LGBTQ. And I think that's important because we want to make sure that we have a full attendance, but also speak about a lot of the important things that are happening amongst each committee, but to merge them. And what I was brainstorming, what was recommended was for each month of these meetings, since it's going to be merged, we should focus for every month the pinpoint of a specific committee. So, for example, for November, if we're going to merge, we should have something for Health and Human Service for that month, and then the following month in December, we're not going to have a meeting in December. We are.
We're not sure yet.
We're not sure, but for example, if we do have a meeting in December, it will
The
be
committees will still be.
right. The committees will still meet, but if we have a meeting on December, the focus will be on seniors or LGBTQ. So we want to make sure that we can try to figure out a plan ahead through June, so that we have something already scheduled and it's not something that is out there spoken for last minute. So we just want to be much more organized for this year coming up. I'm gonna open the floor. Any questions or comments?
We can answer what you said. So like the chair was mentioning, a couple of things happened. We had a change in our senior board leadership. And while the chair and we when we first started off, we had a lot of great progressive work to build on, where we had so many committees that were focusing on so many issues that relates to the board. Historically, the board has had 4 committees, and those committees encompass everything. Now with this, and then recently we had about 14 committees. That's because we wanted to give a chance for everyone to be excited and have a mindset to be able to work on so many issues. As you are aware, this committee, as the chair, this committee chair talked about, has focused on so many amazing issues. As we look to focus on open drug use that was happening, focusing on issues that relates to ensuring that our young people have access to resources and services that are in the community, partnering potentially with our health institutions, Lincoln Hospital, federal qualified agencies. Also looking at the use of other methadone and other clinics. As the chair talked about, we have about maybe over 20 institutions that are or programs that are cited in our district alone. So all this work was happened amazingly under this committee, and so now this chair, Paula Martinez, wanted to build off that work that we did for 2 years and be able to consolidate our committees intentionally to be able to ensure that we have the maximum membership, but also can be able to focus on some of the issues. And so, Chairperson Pena is working with all of you guys to make sure that we are going to build on some of the things that we didn't get to do over the last 2 years and then be able to focus on where we can get things done together. And so I'm excited to serve your DM to maybe we should focus on those issues. So we're changing the energy from frustrated for not getting those issues done to
Yeah.
focusing on how we get those issues done.
And also
Going
just
forward.
sending the message, because for the, opioid and the drug use, that touches everyone. It's not just one, it's right. So whether it's seniors who are affected, family members, LGBTQ community, it's also, it touches everyone. So I think the merging of the communities also helps with specific topics that's gonna always tackle those three. And I think that it's a good idea that we're merging it. We just have to just brainstorm on how that's gonna look like for the upcoming months.
And so that means Department of Social Services, which is the HRA, the Human Resources Administration, of course, what's happening with SNAP and the impact that what it's going to be doing.
Everyone.
And in the very near future, where unfortunately, because of the government shutdown, the likelihood of SNAP, people not being able to access SNAP benefits, women and infant children not having access to their the benefits as it relates to young children who depend on that to survive. The work requirement is going to come together now with folks who are receiving SNAP. It's 80 hours, is it a month or 80 hours? I'm sure and we're going to get some clarification with that. This committee is also making sure that brothers and sisters who are represented by LGBTQIA and Q population have the ability to make sure that representation of their programs and services are going to be out and proud and going forward in our community. We have only known one major institution that's doing the work, but there's a lot of folks who represent that population who need access to the resources and services. In addition to that, we have to make sure that our seniors, our growing aging population has access to the resources and services too, because a lot of those are federally funded resources. And so a lot of the impacts of what our work back when we first started this work 2 years ago, the concern was about what's going to happen with immigration. We had the lines outside that where people were rushing to get the ID NYC. Now you have people who are going to be wondering how they're going to be able to take care of their children, their families, eat at night, and then the hospitals who are likely going to be impacted by the brunt of not having access to the funding that it needs to be able to serve a population of in the community that's growing and people who need access to health care. In addition to that, securing and make sure they have their jobs, because a lot of the focus come from those hospitals. So, and then lastly, the rising premiums are going to come from insurance costs.
Yeah.
That's going to largely impact us and quadruple the cost of really qualified legal insurance. That means now less openings in the medical facilities, longer appointment waits to be able to have access to those places, and the hospitals are going to be challenged each day to try to meet those things. So this committee and this chair has a lot of work ahead of it. Passionate also about doing the health symposium that I know that this chair wanted to see to get done, working with a health institution to make sure we educate our community about what are some of the health issues that are impacting our community. For a long time, this is something that the chair was extremely passionate about. I found that passionate often, and so we're going to turn that frustration into real passion to get work done. So I'll stop talking. So
No, I think you point out a lot of the things that we pretty much worked on focusing on the potentials. But I think my only question is, after this meeting and the brainstorm of what that's going to look like, we still have to present this to the general board meeting.
So my understanding is the executive committee is working out how they're going to be able to unpack the request, and then how this and what is and where steps to be taken to be part of that, and the decision will be made with that. I know this chair wants to be collaborative, because of the intention of being transparent and collaborative to make decisions together as a team. So that's my understanding.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, you guys, I'm gonna open it up to the floor to pick your brains and
Christine Makata, I love this idea of having us all together, right? So it would be and the idea of finding also the themes that affect not only the specific groups, but that also affect everyone. And I think that's a really beautiful challenge. Like, one that's just comes to mind very quickly is mental health, right?
Yeah.
So it would be wonderful to bring in, yes, a speaker just to come and talk to us from the Bronx Psychiatric Center, especially since they're opening a new, you heard Dr. Pedro speak at New York City Health and Hospitals. They're opening a new arts and wellness center for everyone. It's not, you don't have to be court appointed or have it mandated, it's for everyone to go. So like, I love this idea of finding groups that could, but that they know when they come, they're speaking to all of us and our community, but also offering specific support systems that might, and then like it'd be great to kind of like cycle, like one, Health and Human Services, LGBTQI, seniors, like cycle every 3,
Mm-hmm.
but looking, like you said, what are those, like Helen Bourne deals with something like
Yeah.
LGBTQI, the neighborhood, the Browns, they're right by Westchester,
Mhm.
and just looking at like what are the other services that they offer too for the whole community. And I love this idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a holistic approach
Yeah.
to health.
I think the only concern right now is, this is good, right? But in terms of the space. And I know when that was brought up, no one really thought about the space part.
You mean the physical? Sorry,
Yeah,
the physical.
Yeah, because if we're merging 3, and if we're so invested and we care about the attendance, with the exception of today, because usually we have a full house. But how is that gonna look like? Because we have passionate people speaking about passionate things. Are we open to relocate? Are we open to just do the trial and error? Or is this something that, like what I'm saying is like, can we just do like a pilot of a 3-month span first? See how that, like how that's gonna work?
Great. I mean, I think that essentially this has a possibility to be, like you said, trial out here,
Yeah.
see if we're going to do a full house, and like we did the full board meeting here. I would be saying to be a little tight. So I think when we had 14 committees, we had enough for 14 plus people in here.
Yeah.
So we could figure it out and make it work. I think that we have a opportunity to put one more table to add into here. Or we've always been able to go to our community partners and find a space that works for and having, so we can find another
Because
space.
at that
Maybe we
point,
can,
no, I agree with you. I'm sorry to cut you off. At that point, we just have to be aggressive with the attendance.
people make it to the meetings there.
Yeah, because then that will help.
We have to get in and out.
Yeah, but then that would definitely help Diana, because the thing about it is like, what if we do have the 3 committees, and then for each committee, just speaking, 20 people show up for each committee? You understand what I'm saying? Like, how is that gonna look like? Like, we need to be aggressive with the attendance and also just the RSVP, just to make sure that we have the space.
Sure.
Like, we're not, declining or, but it's like the biggest.
Be ready.
Be ready.
You'll be one of the biggest committees.
Yeah.
Between you and economic development.
And economic, yeah, so.
Could we use that room in Lincoln? Not the auditorium, I know that's.
There's a process for us to follow, so we follow the process. Everything has a process. So Lincoln, you have to be able to make sure that you just make reservations in advance, because they're also doing some capital improvements. So you have to make sure that you find a space that we do that. I'm sure that accommodate us.
Yes, absolutely.
I like all of this. You have any?
It's still going through my mind.
Yeah.
Still learning how everything works, and here now the merge of the, I'm sorry, Jose Quintana, City Department of Health, here the committees will be merging now. It's an interesting prospect. I like to see how it unfolds, and I like your suggestion of that pilot of a 3-month, being that you will focus on a different committee each month to see how that goes. And in terms of space, I would offer our office, but we're all the way up on Tremont Avenue in CD6, so I don't know how appropriate that would be.
I might hit you up for CD6 because I have programs over there. So
Okay,
I might hit you up for
it's just so, for CD6, our offices are free and open to the community and our partners to hold meetings, conferences, and
That's
other
awesome.
events and activities.
I'll definitely keep that in mind.
But in terms of the in terms of the committees merging. That sounds very like an interesting
Yeah.
prospect. I'd love to see what's gonna happen. Looking forward to what's gonna happen out of that. And if there are any other recommendations that I have or that will come from my office, I'm gladly definitely share
Yeah,
with.
thank you. Diana, any comments or anything? No?
No, thank you.
Go ahead, Marcelo.
No, Marcelo Villagrán. Yes, absolutely. And that's a great idea, like merging those communities. And also, like, I have a question, like, just we're gonna focus, like, just health programs, like, a WIC program is not, food stamp program, but we're gonna find, like, supporters, right?
Yeah.
Like the speakers.
Yeah, we have to, because there's a lot of changes going on, especially with the administration, that we don't know what's going on in real time. Like, we're just hearing it on news and we're hearing it on whatever emails we receive, but we don't really know what's going on in real time. Like, who's gonna get affected? Obviously, so far right now, perfect example, there's a lot of scenarios that has happened as of last week where we had clients walking into the office concerned that their staff is gonna be terminated by November. And so they're frantic. And so, all I can say, providing services is like, we're trying to figure out in real time. We can't tell them, well, yeah, your benefits are gonna get cut off next month. We don't have that proof. It's just speculations and emails roaming around. We don't have a speaker to pretty much explain what are the changes, who's gonna get affected. Because, there is a fine line. Oh yeah, your benefits are gonna get cut off, but no, there's reasons to why that's gonna get cut off. So we definitely need speakers. We need people who are expert in terms of those type of topics.
Exactly. I said that is because the same question, the same issue, the same points that's happening in the hospital too.
Yeah.
People asking. So sometimes I don't have the answers.
Right.
And maybe we don't have something official. But what you say is true. We have to prepare the community with providing the official of the true information. If it's gonna happen, let's try to find another resources,
Mhm.
like food pantries, all of that. So
I also, don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
I
go
do,
ahead.
I do know that we've been talking about for the longest this whole media, Instagram pages and flyers. That's something that we really gotta put down on concrete. Like, if we're gonna merge the committees, and I'm not only speaking for my committee, but everyone else's committee, we have to aggressively post on an Instagram page. Because this is something that's gonna inform the younger generation. They wanna be involved, they just don't know how to. They wanna know what's going on, they just don't know where. And I think it's important for us to not only provide that type of information, but also the flyers. We have to have something concrete that if we know that we're gonna merge these committees, we need to have a flyer that is for those committees that's being merged.
So it's great that you asked a couple of things. I want to say that anyone who wants to have someone come speak on a specific issue, just make sure you funnel those requests to the committee chairs, who will let the district manager know according to the calendar how the presenters will go, and you can tell them what the committee's email address is, so you can make sure you receive them. So she has the email address for this committee. Each committee has an email address, so that will show you the function. And then
Can we
you can
disclose that
visit
for the general, because we need to have those
That's-
things approved?
this is use the same old email address you have.
Okay, Chad, is that my?
You still have it, so
I still
use
have
the same
it,
one,
okay.
so that email address is an email address for you to be able to speak specific about this, because it'll still all, whatever the committee's mergers will be, you will still be Health and Human Services committee. That's one.
Yes.
Two, speaking about, I'm sorry, my other thing was, so, and then those presenters will be able to come and make sure that that's gonna be speaking about, because again, what I'm learning now about, and this is still tentative information about the SNAP and everything else, is the city originally applied to the state for a waiver to the USDA about, as it relates to what was happening with SNAP, WIC, and everything else. The federal government is issued an executive order that denied every waiver that the
Yeah.
city applied for. So now the city is scrambling so that these questions are not answered. Marilyn has experience in being the program director for benefit access amongst so many other things, so she knows firsthand. So that's where you're getting a wave of people. And so we're learning from her. We're learning from our contacts at the HRA. And so they are trying to develop a couple programs. One about what's going to happen in the case of folks who cut off, but also they have to create a work program too for those who are required to do the work. And so that there's a lot of questions that are not answered yet because and then you have an election happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different way of a lot of confusion. So
Yeah.
we are, as soon as we have information that's likely, if the chair approves, one of the first things that we'll do, we'll probably hold a town hall meeting
Yeah,
that will be hopefully hosted in a space to be able to speak to a lot of the fears. But you have a lot of advocates, I'm sure, at your agency, at the community board and stuff. We're all trying to figure out how to be able to best resolve these people. Diana and Stevie and I over here every day of horror stories of people who have different issues, not only related to this, but now this is going to be the next thing. It's like, what are we going to do? And food pantries are going to be oversaturated with that too. So it is,
we're entering literally a zone where we
again,
just don't know what try to put there.
we don't know the maybes.
There's a lot of maybes and the unknown. But I wanna just like set the record straight. I'm gonna, so the email is bxcb1hhs@gmail.com. It's very simple. Shoot me an email and I'll be glad to forward them to Anthony Jordan and the team at CB1 so that we can try to brainstorm and put stuff in place. So yeah.
So that's the first thing I'm hearing is that a town hall meeting to speak to
Yeah.
SNAP and benefit access, or what do you?
I think that would be helpful because the thing is, we still are in the process of trying to figure out what this merge committee is gonna look like.
Got it.
And the thing about it is, in order for us to hold a town hall meeting, we also have to start sending out these surveys. We have to be,
What are the possible questions?
what are the possible questions, but then also what you just pointed out, you guys are having all walks of life coming into the office with crises and concerns that we just don't have the answers to. And if we can have a survey that, you know, that the community is really invested in knowing and trying to gain answers for, you know, in regards to the situation, maybe we can be able to select what that town hall meeting is gonna look like. Who could we meet? Who can we invite? Is this gonna be a press? Is this gonna be a crime press? Like, you know,
Something
like
similar to
something.
the migrant facility.
Yes.
Okay.
Because right now, the most important thing right now is the benefits
Which
There-
is WIC and SNAP.
with SNAP, cash assistance. And cash assistance on all that is tied up to people who are receiving, you know, grant assistance, city facts, all of this stuff. This is very important. I've heard a lot of stories. So it's troubling too to just tell a client, yes, you're getting, you know, court papers to, you know, for housing court, but they're frantic. They think they're gonna get evicted. Little do they know that it is the best way to get the proper help if you get proceeded in court, because then the judge can determine what services, what programs to refer you. So a lot of the times that's literally, it's a better way because there's other resources, there's other legal counsels and things like that. They automatically think, oh, well, I'm gonna get evicted. Little do they know that maybe the management is charging them illegally. There's charges that the judge and they don't know where that's coming from. So a lot of the times that helps out, but again, it goes to show in terms of the benefits, like why there's certain things that's happening. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like there's other loopholes. But yeah, the town hall meeting sounds like a good idea. Vice chairs. That's something that we need to work on because for 2 years straight, I haven't had a vice chair.
Maybe to run the show. By yourself.
Yeah, but sometimes,
You need some pitch hitters, somebody to help, right?
and I think that's a good reason why we're merging the committee meetings, because a lot of the times, you know, this is volunteer work. We love what we do, but God forbid something happens, we're quick to cancel a meeting because something that's happening. And so it'll be best to have a vice chair to, you know, hold the meeting for us. I'm pretty much done on my end.
And most of this gonna be announced in the general meeting at the end of the month.
We have to.
Yes,
It has to happen because it's also happening to other committees.
yes.
So it's not just mine.
So the goal is, if I can add to
Yeah.
what you're saying, the goal is, the 14 committees is consolidate to 7.
Yeah,
So you cut it in half, you have a strong possibility of always making quorum in your meetings.
yes,
The committees is where it's hard, nothing can be passed to the full board, and things usually are delayed when you don't have quorum in the
Exactly.
committee. All the work is done in committee, and so that's.
and that's not fair to the presenters as well. We
Exactly.
have seen, and I experienced that, where we didn't meet quorum, where we felt bad that there was this important issue that needed the vote, and we couldn't because we had to wait. And that, to me, time is important for me. And if we're wasting time, we're wasting people's ability to pass and enforce laws and bills and things of that, or even just opening up the new healthcare system or whatever it is. And so that was the reason to why we're merging these committees.
There's gonna stand like just going to go one, or there's gonna be continue with the rest of the board.
So each board, even though we're a city agency and we're controlled by the city of New York, our president's office, this board has governed itself in this matter to make
Yeah.
sure that you better operate in this, by making this consolidation.
Yeah, and of course, it was something that they thoroughly, investigated, because they went back on previous meetings, things that didn't work, and following that leadership and et cetera. And so now with the new leadership, it's only due to just make some changes to see if that works. And if it works, and that's something that maybe, we'll keep it. If it doesn't work, then that's part of the pilot. We want to make sure if it works. If it doesn't work, then we will figure out and pivot. Any questions?
I have a question. So, if I understand correctly, at the next board meeting in October, the general board meeting, we're gonna offer to the new members to join this committee?
Yes.
So we can get more members?
Yeah.
Yes. And so, and the thing about committees, so the committee is not only made up of full board members, it's made up of full board members and public members, which are people in the community who are not only appointed by the borough president and city council members, they are interested in working in a specific issue area, and they fill out an application that's shared with the committee chair. The committee chair sits with the full board chair and says, does this work? That also is gonna likely be something that that borough president's office looks at when one of the questions, the question, and you wanna join to be a full board member, have you ever attended a meeting before? Have you been part of a meeting? And if you have, then that will, when your application for full membership comes up, they can say this is somebody who's already down with the cause, because what has been happening is that people, they want to join the board, it seems like a good thing, they say, oh, this is a lot of time, this is a lot of work, this is done, and so they're like, I'm not for it, but if they're already part of the committee, they're part of the quorum, and all those other things, so this is, again, a thought process that's trying to make sure that we get people's work done. That's the goal of that. All of our time is best used to meet whatever new demands comes from this community. You have, like the chair mentioned, you have a new mayor. It's going to start that has a lot of great ideas, and so we want to make sure that we are prepared for whatever, because community boards can also are going to be a lot of ideas and legislation are going to be forced to be changed too. People are looking at changing how community boards operate, how they are going to be engaging part of this. So it's a lot of opportunity.
Lastly is also to support other chairs within committees. So we have had a past of where we have, not that we have to, but we wanted to attend other meetings and couldn't because we were literally full in a month of 14 meetings. And I've had the experience of attending every meeting. There was a month where I attended everyone's meeting, and that was overwhelming because it's not only are you taking your, it's a volunteer time, but also you want to know what are the changes and what's happening for each committee and how we can help. But oftentimes you find the, people in the committee feeling frustrated and overwhelmed to even be present to those meetings. So I think that's the merging part is gonna be helpful so that we can all figure out what's going on amongst other committee, meetings. So, that's the main focus to why that's merged. I have nothing else to say, but I think that, we are gonna try to improve our communication in terms of these meetings. And everything that we are stating, we wanna make sure that we also provide you guys with the email of what was stated. That way we can keep track on our improvement and who we're gonna invite and the planning of our upcoming meetings.
It's great.
Okay,
That's exciting.
And then the challenge.
yeah, me too.
It's great.
Any questions? Pretty much it, right? We're good? No, old businesses? No, nothing? Alright, so any abstentions, go ahead.
No, just a question, it's a question for the community, it just sometimes in perhaps let's say, community program is occurring like food pantries is still or something, so.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it's an exciting thing to talk about. So we are, everyone, what's the new chair of the board wants to move to having, we have four Saturdays a month, every Saturday at 10 o'clock. But ask a committee to take a Saturday. So this Saturday will be this committee, that Saturday will be this committee, so that we're having, as a board activity, the food pantry, we feed over 100 and what was our number, the average, maybe about anywhere 100, 120 families?
Maybe more. I mean, yeah.
So we're being
It's
very
growing.
creative, and there's so many different ways you can help with the food pantry. So work with Grassroots Groceries, which is a food rescue organization that's in the Huntsville area. The teacher had a great idea to take all this food that was being disposed of in the Huntsville market and saved it and brings it. But the way it happens is that we get a volunteer who has a vehicle who is scheduled to go to the location to pick up the groceries, pack their car up full of boxes of produce, and then bring it here to the pantry. What happens is that person has to be able to register a couple of days before, and we make that commitment to set up and then bring it here, so they have access to a vehicle. They go to a parking lot, say there's a parking lot that's in Webster Avenue, this is an example, and we ever have supporters there to pack your car full of it, so please don't bring 3 other people with you. This pack, leave your car be packed. It brings it here. We get the produce, and people are outside starting at least by 8 o'clock this in the morning for 10 o'clock start. But we don't really start until about maybe 11. But it's an amazing experience. People are extremely grateful, and we know food security for this issue is a big thing, and so. Maryland, you did it before. Other team members have done it. This is a great opportunity that you even created a flyer for it to really engage.
Not this one.
You created? No, not this one.
No,
That's
not
no,
the resume.
that one is a big study. But there was an amazing opportunity for those to volunteer. We get volunteers all around who come. They bring the people who bring their children. Not only who are on the line, but people who pick up the food. So if you have a vehicle and you want to volunteer to say, hey, I'm available to do it for you one Saturday out of the month, it is extremely appreciative because sometimes we get 1 drop off, sometimes we get 2. We're doing really well. We get 3. People are really, really look forward to this all the time. We do rain, sleet, and snow. If it rains or it's cold outside, we bring the operation inside. If it's nice outside, we are outside and we're making the family.
Who's in charge of the video?
It's gonna move towards Stephanie.
Stephanie's gonna be in charge of
That's
it?
good. She has Canva and she has all the stuff. She did create the flyers and everything. She was helping out before with Sanji. So this is likely Stephanie, but you guys have not made a decision yet who's gonna be what chair is in. So that's she's picking it up now, like on the back end, but she's interested in doing communications technology.
Oh, okay.
You have Canva too?
I have everything.
I don't think they want to correct split between this committee and so don't be like, oh, don't be looking at it.
No, I'm just saying because
That's the
no,
way you're communicating all that stuff you're talking
no,
about, right?
what I'm
The
saying
new
is,
volunteers that use social media to get them, right?
yes, because that's the most important thing. Like, how are we able to how are we able to communicate with the community in regards to what's going on, the food pantries and things like that. The flyers, giving out flyers to people, great. Word of mouth is amazing. However,
Social
we
media is
have to really focus on the younger generation. The younger generation wants to do everything but nothing at the same time. And so we could be able to, let them know there's food pantries happening all the time by the Mitchell houses.
Addison, Mitchell's, and
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can be able, what they're doing in terms of tackling the media and we just need to be much more present on the media. That's all I,
pictures and stuff like that. So,
please, something.
If I may suggest,
Wait, quiet.
I'm sorry, Jose Quintana, again, Department of Health. If I may suggest, I was reading an article about 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
it talked about influencers and how they do things and how they build up their following and stuff. This is a daunting task to get into with the social media because you have to post every single day.
Yeah.
They say if you want to build it up, you got to post every
You have
single day.
to.
And the big influencers, they're not just posting every day; they're posting 5-10
Times a day.
times a day.
Mhm.
So that's something, but it can get, I think it could work. We're trying to do it at our offices as
Yeah.
well. And I think it can work that if you get someone to just put out, even if it's the same message every day, you hit them with the
Yeah.
same message and
But
and
that's
they
a
will
good
get it.
point because of the fact that we have all these committees, and I get that certain people want to do flyers, but also we need somebody that is gonna be editing videos.
like broadcasting.
We need somebody to edit all of our committees.
We're working on, we are definitely hearing you on that, we are identifying interns actually that are good at that too, social media. If you had an intern, that's even easier because I know we get bogged down with so much work, sometimes we don't think to take pictures or broadcast different things or tell a story. So it's good that you're doing, I hear what you're saying, if you're doing the work, there's nothing wrong with showing the work that you're doing on the social
I mean,
media, right?
I'm resigning, so I'll be free the month of December, so I don't mind editing videos.
Designing from,
Yeah. I'll tell you later. No. Yeah, I'll tell you later.
We think we're gonna go, what are you talking about?
Wait,
Exactly, that's totally right. And also that is a great thing, it's just it's true. And also that's the reason like you have like a strong relationship with districts, okay? District with the doctor.
That is
superintendent. So according to our relationship with District 7 is like we have like every single event in Lincoln. So we send information to the District 7. So they designate a all public school. So that means
That's amazing.
all families will get that information. A flyer, a video clip, all of that. So the contact person is Sharon Tirado.
Yes,
She's
that's sharing very well,
and
yes.
that is the social media.
Sharon goes to the Family Institute, yeah,
As soon as you get the information,
it broadcasts live.
all
The
parent
chief of
coordinators,
schools, right,
and they send it to all parents, all
immediately,
families.
right.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I like
Thank you,
that.
Michelle.
Yeah, I like that.
So videos, flyers, tell a story.
Hi, for myself. Ogletree. You do collect emails when people come in. That's another way to spread the word as well.
Mhm.
I'm kind of iffy with the flyers because especially us as women, I don't like to take anything from anybody anymore because they're using paper and those type of things to draw.
Mhm.
So we're resistant from taking flyers unless you put it up in community places.
Mhm.
So the media is the way. Emails, if you collect the emails when you come in, people come in to visit, utilize that. Even when you're doing the pantry, I see that line.
Yeah.
You have the email and just keep sending blast it and even on the email forward it to friends and family.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely be aggressive on
I want to also give an idea, I want to ask another mission for this committee is about thinking about something around Thanksgiving, Health and Human Services. So what are is this committee willing to, whereas we get people who want to, talk to the chair about this, is as you get to want to, hear about things that we should be doing as a group, do you want the team to reach out to prospective benefactors who can donate Thanksgiving packages? We have been working with staff. I've been working with the NYCHA Richard Development on an ongoing basis. We have dedicated ourselves to all the feeding programs all the supplies and stuff we got and working with, actually do that.
Especially
And
the Mitchell, the.
Mitchell, yeah, that's we've been there at the detention, we're working with some groups for,
Are we
Thanksgiving.
able to do like a turkey drive over there, or does it have to be here?
We're working on two things. One, we're already working on getting prepared food because they don't have
They
access
don't
to
have
gas.
access still to gas.
So we are trying to make sure the food's already prepared so they can have for their families. So we're looking to hopefully get boxes of prepared food, working with some of the restaurants that are there in the area.
Are we
Some
able to
boxes
get
of-
donation?
We, as long as they do not have, if they're restaurants, as long as they don't have business before the board, if there are people who are benefactors, they can partner them with an organization that has the ability to manage those funds. Again, they cannot be, and it cannot be an organization that is recommended by somebody who works for the organization, so like.
I don't wanna mention, I'm trying to stay away from that.
So yes, we are working on ideas, to be able to,
The reason why
Get
I
access.
asked, because I had did an event a few months ago for work, and we were giving out Full Bazaar gift cards. Because there was a good amount of families that didn't have gas, and they didn't have gas, but they were given the electric burners. So
Hot plates.
the hot plates. And a lot of them were fearful to even use that.
yes.
And so they didn't have the proper skills or the education or the resources to learn how to use those hot plates. And so we gave them gift cards so that they can get, just pre-made meals or whatever it is.
So to add that, the staff and I we all have been talking to organizations, to get some donations, we had some donations, we're being mindful of the non-cooking gas issue. We've been mindful of the hot plates that open, so because we buy extra stuff, they always go to freeze inside the development. They're already fearful of fire, they're fearful of additional issues, that's what causes up the issue. And together with that, we're also working with Congress and Buildings Department, Fire Department to fast forward the gas pipeline to be back on before Thanksgiving. That's not likely. We always know that takes months. You have 4,000 households, so we're already working to find discounts and also so that there's going to be rotisserie chickens for small families and some stuff made for on Thanksgiving Day, so they can have some sort of holiday. Also, already thinking fast forward to Christmas. So yes, but this has to be things that are supported by certain committees. This committee working on human services is just part of that. So I'm asking, think forward to approve about Thanksgiving,
Alright,
amongst other things. I don't know if you.
okay.
You answered the yes.
That was it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, my.
No, you answered what I was gonna say.
You thought you were gonna have to say something, but I said it already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you, I know, right, we're on the same page.
Just for Lincoln City, we have many sponsors who made a donation. The only thing they are requesting is table. So if we can use some sponsors, and they will request I'm gonna donate this particular item, like for example turkeys, they're only asking us to table in those events. So that is not gonna affect you, okay?
No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
We you have a district manager who don't mind checking with the entities called conflict of interest board. We all have that. That we always ask the question first to mitigate any possible ethical problems, and so we found out that we
To avoid.
to avoid because because it doesn't go away, right? Once you get one, exactly. So yes, tabling is not an issue. And I think the only thing we can say we can have for people to take part in religious activities in exchange for anything. Other than that, you can give somebody a flyer about health insurance or about
Home care.
I think home care assistance.
That's important.
It's like getting a Times Square. Thank you for the time. A timeshare. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna go down to Disney World and enjoy my day. So that's it.
Yes, and we follow the same protocol, the same procedure
Yes.
with everywhere the city has now. So, and yeah, the only requesting is stable in those events.
Yes, I think it's an amazing opportunity to help these, and so we even found locations inside the national development. The community center was not open like we needed it to be. So we had the family centers. We even said we'll take the food into the lobbies and have the families or if they're working out of it, just come down the library, pick up the hot food, that'd be great. Or we'll have what's called stair climbers who will go up the stairs. My niece is not as good as they used to be 10 years ago. So my work for young people who could be engaged, get this to go, go get these, burn this back upstairs, young man. So whatever it takes, but it has to be something that's concurred with this committee to say that it would be activity of the Health and Human Services Committee and other committees that come together. So a lot of work, the possibility the chair will give me her direction from the emails that you guys share with her. And we'll simplify these minutes. One of the requirements the new chair has that for each committee, minutes have to go out immediately. So you'll get the minutes to share with the folks immediately after the end of this meeting.
That's awesome.
Friday.
Okay. Any comments or concerns?
You said it.
Yeah,
What you said.
we're trying to avoid killing more trees.
We'll be in shape real quick, put these minutes out.
Yeah, cause those minutes,
I
boy,
didn't get a chance to see them before then.
yes.
Right, looking confused, like, did we say that? Did we say that? Right. So
Yeah.
it'll be in draft form.
That's
Beautiful. Alright, we're pretty much set. Okay, so,
So let's make a motion to.
yeah, give
You
me a
want to
motion.
put that, the dog thing or something like that? No? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I know that there is, two things I want to announce about other communities are doing. So there is the Education Youth Committee is looking to do a Halloween autism celebration and a Halloween event. I think it's Saturday, one is Saturday, one is on Halloween day, right? So
Yes.
this coming Saturday, is that correct, Diana?
Yes.
And then the next, so the work for young people with autism will have a Halloween celebration, thanks to the Education Youth Committee, and then our regular Halloween Halloween event is going to be when?
Friday.
Right. So bring your mask. If not, I'll keep the one I have on. Yes, so that we. So please come out and have fun. And if you have young people who are on the spectrum, please join us on Saturday after the food pantry to we purchased some items in advance for our brothers and sisters, young people with autism.
I love that. That's awesome.
Those two events, Saturday and Friday.
So we're done. Can I get a motion? Oh, any abstain, any,
I just need, we gotta make a motion to join the meeting.
okay.
I Marcelo Rivera, have motion
Second.
to the second.
Everyone looks tired.
Like Kool-Aid, right?
All right, well, this is adjourned.
Thank you for the.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Very
Yeah, 6